Hello everyone, Namaste, this is me Pawan, and in this video I am going to talking about Everest Base Camp trekking, its itinerary and other information regarding this trek. Please keep on mind that this is not a luxury tour, but this is an experience of a lifetime. The Everest Base Camp trek begins with an eye-opening flight to Lukla and passes through the picturesque Sherpa village of Namche Bazar to Gorakhsep, ending in the ascent of Kala Patthar, from where classic views of Everest and its surrounding peaks are seen. Most of the trek is spent above altitude of 3000 meters in the Khumbu and Indra Valley. There will be plenty of time to enjoy the culture of Sherpas, visit ancient monasteries, and learn influence of Lamastic Buddhism on Sherpa's life. These communities are where you will develop a deeper understanding of Sherpa culture and the ancient schools of Tibetan Buddhism, which has contributed to its identity over the centuries. From the wide array of money stones and shortens beside the trails to the fascinating monasteries you will explore along the way, the Everest Base Camp trek is packed with sites of natural as well as cultural significance. Some highlights of the Everest Base Camp trek. Fly into the high-altitude Tenzing Hillary Airport at Lukla, an experience in itself. Visit Sherpa village with their Tibetan-like peoples and act-headers. Stay in Namche Bazar, the starting point for all Everest expeditions. Visit Tengboche monasteries with its strong spiritual connections and the surrounding panorama of mountain views. Be stunned by the chilling beauties of Khumbu glaciers and Khumbu icefall. Use the essential acclimatizations day to learn some things to the lifestyles of the Sherpas. Pass through Sagarmatha National Parks with its unique flora and fauna. Follow the footsteps of Sir Edmund Hillary and many other famous mountaineers. Simply observe the atmospheres of the Khumbu valleys and recognize the power of courage, mother of mountains. On your arrival at Tribhuvan International Airport in Kathmandu, you will be met by your company representative and transferred to your hotel. Also, there will be the opportunity to meet your guide with the program briefing and ask any questions you still may have about your trip to Everest Base Camp. The day is to visit Kathmandu Valley. The popular place to visit Kathmandu Valley is Pashupatinath Temple, Swayambhunath Stupa, which is also called Monkey Temple, Bhaktapur Darbar Square. Apart from this, Thamel is the place with its restaurants, bars, shops with unique Nepali handicrafted items and trekking gear. Due to changes in the regulations and upguarding at the domestic airport in Kathmandu, it is very likely that the flights to Lukla will operate out of Manthali Airport in Ramechhap district. This involves a 4 hours drive from Kathmandu during very early morning. The flight from Manthali will depart early in the mornings and takes 20 minutes. On arrival in Lukla, experienced local porters will meet and headed down the trail to Phakdings, which takes 3 to 4 hours. The trail takes us through forests, traditional villages with their ploughed fields and ag pastures. As you reach the entrance to the Sagarmatha National Parks, you can see Thamsergu risings above us. Namche Bazar is the largest Sherpa village in Khumbu regions and is the starting point for expeditions and trekking groups. Here you can purchase a few last-minute items that you have forgotten to purchase in Kathmandu. You need have an acclimatization day to allow your body to adjust to the high altitude, but that doesn't mean to do nothing. The best way to acclimatize is to be active. There is an opportunity to spend a few hours hiking around the area or visit the school set by the Sir Edmond Hillary in the Khumjung village. Some of the mountains on the over today are Kwangde, Thamsergu, Kangtega, Nopse, Lhotse, Amadablums, and of course Mount Everest. There are not many steep ascents and descents, which gives plenty of time to concentrate on photography. Stupa, prayer flags, manivols, mountains such as Amadablum and Tengboche monasteries are all worth photographing. The panoramic views from the monasteries make it all worthwhile. If you are lucky, you will be able to light some butter lamps in monastery. The trail is of course very scenic, but also quite challenging. Start off following the Imjakhala before climbing up the windswept field of Dingboche. Dingboche is the highest Sherpa settlement in the Khumbu region. The views of Amadablum from here are particularly spectacular and dramatic. As you will arrive at Dingboche in time for lunch, the rest of the afternoons is free to relax with a book or simply engage at the surrounding mountains. With the ever-rising altitude, it is important to take another day for acclimatize. There are the number of options available for short hikes, such as visiting the base of Nangkarthang Peak with its sacred site and view of Mount Makal. This trip is 4 to 5 hours round trip, and ascending altitude on this hike will help your body prepare for the high altitude ahead. Today, the trek begins with gentle climbs toward the Feriche village. Trekking above the valley floor, we pass through alpine shrubs and egg patches. On display are Taoche and Cholache, with Amadablums behind us. From here, it appears Amadablums is rising directly from the valley floor. The trail continues on the Tokla Pass, where the ascent is challenging. Again, a photographer's paradise, as there are panoramic views of Nopse, Lopse, Lotsesar and few other 7,000 plus meters peaks. After crossing the pass, we will reach Lobuche. Not a very attractive settlement in itself, the sceneries around it is both beautiful and dramatic. This is an exciting day, ascent to the viewpoint for Everest. First, the trail takes us for about 3 hours over through the terrains to the small settlements of Gorakhsep. From here, you have two options to do for this day: either visit the Everest Base Camp or visit Kalapathars, which takes equally 3 to 4 hours. Kalapathar means black rock, where the views of Everest are simply the best view you can possibly get. At 5,545 meters, this is the highest altitude you can trek in Nepal without requiring climbing permits. It is more of the rise than a mountains. This place is most famous for sunrise and sunset. If you did not make to Kalapathar today, you will do early in this morning, returning to Gorakhsep for breakfast. Similarly, if you did not visit Everest Base Camp yesterday, you can do that in this morning. Each trip takes 3 to 4 hours from Gorakhsep. After breakfast, head to Feriche, approximately 4 hours. The little settlements houses where the Himalayan Rescue Association clinic is an interesting feature of this area. This is a long day of walking, made harder by the hard hiking the day before. The trail descends quite considerably, but there are some uphills to be tackled also. As we approach Namche village, the forest and greenery returns. This will be the opportunity to celebrate your successful trek to Everest Base Camp, where available of Wi-Fi, you can touch base with loved ones at homes and perhaps upload a few pictures of your trip. In the earlier part of the day, take a good final look at the magnificent Himalayan mountains and say goodbye to the Khumbu Valley and Mount Everest. Then put your head down as you make a final long ascent into Lukla. This morning says goodbye to Mount Everest and Khumbu regions as you board your flight back to either Kathmandu or Mantali airport, depending on which airport is open at the times, and of course weather conditions. Either you will be back in Kathmandu for brunch or in the early afternoons. Then there is time to do some shopping in Kathmandu. You will be taken through an international airport in time for your onward flight. This is the end of your memorable journey to Everest Base Camp and Nepal itself. There are other optional routes for Everest Base Camp trekkings. Gokyo Chola Pass with Everest Base Camp treks, that is for 17 days. 3 passes Renzola, Chola and Kongmala with Everest Base Camp trek, that is for 18 days. Classic Ziri to Everest Base Camp trek, that is for 19 days. Adan Peak climbing with Everest Base Camp trek, that is for 19 days. There are plenty of lodges along the Everest Base Camp trek route, from the simple lodge to the highest 3-star hotels, which is located between Namche and Tengbose. Your arrivals at Tenzing Hillary Airport at Lukla is your gateway to Khumbu Valley, otherwise known as the Everest regions. So leave any high expectations regarding accommodations at home. That at high altitude locations such as Gorakshep, and during peak seasons accommodations is limited and it may be you have to share your rooms even if you have opted for a single rooms. In fact, all the rooms are provided on twin sharing basis. If you like to a single rooms, there will be an additional charge for this. Hot showers is chargeable basis are widely available, but in some of small villages, the bathrooms are likely to be shared ones. Accommodations in Kathmandu is tourist center of town, convenient for bars, restaurant and souvenir shopping. Again, if you wish a single room, there will be an additional charge. These hotels provide hot showers and Wi-Fi free of charge. It is very easy to book these trekkings through trekking agencies. You need to visit your trustworthy nearest trekking agency to do booking. You can also search in online and book with deposit of minimum token amount or a booking amount. Choosing best trekking agencies is always a very hard thing. The reviews, word of mouth and recommendations will help you to choose best trekking agency. To book Everest Base Camp trekkings, those who are Indian nationalities, they need to send a color scan of passports, Aadhaar card or election card. A scan of color photo with white background. For other than Indians, a copy of passports and a copy of photos with white backgrounds. Other passport holders are also needed. Passport need at entry gate for registrations. Visa, these are easy to attain when you land in Kathmandu. Bring $40 for 15 days and $60 for 30 days, which can be obtained on arrivals in airport. Travel insurance are also important document for Everest Base Camp trekking. The currency of Nepal is Nepali currency, but Indian currency, US dollars and other worldwide accepted currencies are also acceptable in Nepal. You can exchange currencies in money changers in Kathmandu and also in Namche Bazaar. Credit cards are accepted in Kathmandu. You can withdraw money from ATMs in Kathmandu and Namche Bazaar. Rest of the place you need to have payment in cash. Major network SIM with international roaming work in Kathmandu, Lukla, Phakting and Namche Bazaar. If you are planning with the satellite phones, could be the best idea. You can also purchase the Nepali SIM card in Kathmandu. Wi-Fi are available in all places of these trekkings with additional payment and data limit.